Hey guys, Kimmy Vapes here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing another product by Vaporesso. This time it's going to be the Cascade 1 Plus. Let's have a vape, go down below and see what comes with it. Okay, and here is the Cascade 1 Plus by Vaporesso. This was sent to me by Vaporesso for the purpose of this review. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Lots of information on the box. On this side, you can see that it talks about the Cascade 1 Plus, the sub-ohm tank, which is going to be called the Cascade Baby, the safety lock mechanism, the unique isolation, and the mesh coils. It is a 3000. On the box it says 1800 milliamp hour battery. However, this is the Cascade Plus with the 3000 milliamp hour battery, and I don't know if your box will come with that same misprint or not, but I figured I'd go ahead and mention it. Then you have your specifications. The Cascade Baby Tank is 5 ml. The built-in battery capacity is 3000 mAh. So up here it says it's 1800 mAh, down here 3000. 3000 mAh is the correct milliamp hour of the internal battery. Then it'll tell you your product contains the Cascade 1 Plus kit, the GT mesh coil, a GT C-cell coil, and your Vaporesso USB cable. Flipping it over here, more information, and on this side, information about the tank, the unique isolation structure, which I'll show you when we open it, the triangular airflow, and the safety lock mechanism. Let's go ahead and take the sleeve off, and just like in typical Vaporesso fashion, they have this beautiful box that opens up. Right away you can access your device, which is right here, and no coil head will be installed when you get this device. Inside this box is where you'll find both your coil heads, the mesh and the C-cell, spare O-rings and gaskets. So it comes with your USB cable, user manuals and warranty card, spare O-rings and gasket for the tank, your C-cell coil. Then here is the device. Okay, so first we're going to go over the Cascade Baby tank. Now I do have e-liquid in this tank because I have been using it, but we'll still go over the tank. So here you'll see the tri-airflow that they talked about on the packaging. You have 1, 2, 3 airflow holes, and the adjustment ring does have a stopper. So from all the way closed position, and then all the way open, and whatever you do to one side will do to the other two. Here you have a nice very wide bore 510 drip tip. So yes, that's right, as wide as it is on the top, this is a 510 at the base, so only your 510 drip tips will fit in this tank. To fill the tank, you'll simply lift up on the top cap. And the thing with this is there is a small little arrow there that you'll see. You'll have to locate the arrow, lift up, and then push out. Then you can fill it there, bring it back, lift up, and it'll click back down. And this is what they call their safety lock mechanism. Because you have to actually lift up on that top cap to open it, you're not going to accidentally push open the top there if it's in your pocket or your purse. So also to note, this top cap does come off, and I found this quite tricky because there are so many disconnect points on this tank. Some disconnect by reverse, some go regular clockwise. So this one, for example, the very top portion cap comes off when you unscrew it clockwise. So I'm turning it clockwise, and this part of the cap comes off. Now, I'm not sure why they made it so this part of the cap comes off. considering that the mechanism is located down here, I feel like they did not need to make this top cap removable. They could have just left it as is, and we wouldn't have to deal with another piece that needs to be disassembled. I could be wrong, but I saw no reason for this to need to come off. But it does. So if you're really into deep cleaning, you could take this off, I guess, and clean it. And this just exposes how that locking mechanism works for your top cap. So the way that the locking mechanism works is, you can see you have a pin here. And this pin prevents the fill port from being opened unless you pull up. And when you pull up, that pin is dropped down below this metal plate, and that allows you to spin out the top. So to screw this back down, we actually have to screw it on counterclockwise. And when you do, you want to make sure that your fill port is completely closed, otherwise that top cap's not going to line up. So now next, to unscrew the base, you're going to unscrew it counterclockwise. Do not hold it here, or you'll unscrew the center portion of your glass. Or if you hold it here, you'll unscrew that top cap. So you'll want to hold it right here on this black band when you unscrew the base. So unscrewing the base here is where your coil is. You'll see I have the mesh coil head installed. Simple. If you are putting your coil in for the first time, as always with any coil, and especially the mesh coil, make sure to prime the inner part of the cotton and the outer wicking holes by just putting a couple drops of juice in there. Go ahead and push this back on. I got a little bit of e-liquid. And again, when tightening these portions, make sure you're holding on to the area closest and not furthest away, because the way that these pieces come together, you actually have 4 pieces. So you have that very top piece, which unscrews. Below that, you have your actual chimney / fill port section, which unscrews. So you got, this comes off clockwise, this comes off counterclockwise, this comes off clockwise, this comes off counterclockwise. So if you hold on to a clockwise and clockwise section, you're going to end up unscrewing them both. I know that sounds really confusing, and trust me, I feel like they have too many parts that disconnect here. So the next thing I'm going to talk about here is what they're calling the unique isolation structure. I should have left the base off. So all the unique isolation structure is you have about 2 mil here of glass, and then you have this metal housing down here, which also holds e-liquid, by the way. So the reason why they call it an isolation structure is your coil sits down below the glass inside this metal housing, which holds about 3 mils of e-liquid. Now, they say it increases your coil life, that it somehow enhances your coil life, which I'm not quite sure how that is, since if you look very closely, you can see that the juice from the top part travels down into this housing. So the coil is still submerged in e-liquid and surrounded by e-liquid, just as if it was a full glass tank. So to me, that seems a little gimmicky, that they claim it increases your coil life. But I could be wrong. I mean, I'm still vaping on this mesh coil a week and a half after I got the device, so maybe it does. We'll see. I'll update you guys if I don't feel that it does. So really, that is the tank. Simple sub-ohm tank. Couple unique design features. Let's get on to the battery. So the battery is a simple click on, click off battery. You've got your 510 here at the top, a nice stainless steel or some sort of metal here at the top, spring-loaded 510. The dimensions of the tank are 24.5 millimeters. So the dimension of the tube obviously is also 24.5 millimeters. With the tank included, the total length of the device is going to be 138 millimeters. Now to switch on the device, you'll do 5 clicks and it'll flash green. When you fire a device, obviously it's going to flash green. But if you have no atomizer attached, if there's some sort of short, the light will flash blue. Now that our device is attached to our tank, when we press it, that light will be blue. And the reason why the light is blue right now is because my battery is draining. So you have 3 indicators for your battery. It'll be green, blue, and red. When charging, which your USB charger is located here on the back of the device. Oops. Got a little bit of e-liquid where I removed that base and the coil there. So your micro USB is at the back of the device. When you're charging this, it does have 2 amp quick charging. The light will be red while it's charging, and then when it's finished charging, your light will be white. So that is the Cascade 1 Plus. Let's go back up top, have a vape on, and I'll give you my thoughts and opinions. Alright, and that was an up-close look at the Cascade 1 Plus kit. So what are my thoughts? Let's get right into the pros. First, we're going to go over the tank. So one of the biggest pros of the tank is that it is 5 milliliters, meaning it's going to hold a lot of e-liquid, and it's only 24.5 millimeters diameter, so it's not a really big tank. Now, it is taller than a lot of other tanks, and after initially opening this device, I felt like it was really gimmicky how they said that the isolation chamber makes coil life last longer, but at the same time, I did think of a couple other things that the way they did this tank does for you, and it's kind of like a mind trick. So one of the things with the tank is when my e-liquid gets to the bottom there where I can no longer see my e-liquid level, I instantly want to fill my tank because I don't see any e-liquid in it, and I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna get burnt coil. But in reality, there's still 2 milliliters, if not 3 milliliters, down there below the line of the glass, because that second portion, like you saw in the up and close, holds e-liquid. So the coil is completely submerged in e-liquid, but my mind thinks because I can't see the e-liquid, I want to fill it. So kind of like a mind trick that Vaporesso, when they talk about coil life and preventing dry hits, I think it's more about you just don't see e-liquid in there, so you want to fill it, and thus that can make your coil life last longer, because if you don't get dry hits, then your coil is going to last longer. And that's my thoughts on that. Do I think that there's anything in the way that they designed this tank, with the top portion being glass and the bottom portion being metal, actually making your coil last longer? No. But it's neat. It's different. It doesn't bother me that the top half is glass and the bottom half is black. I guess for some people they might like it to be all glass, but for me, I think there's a lot of structural integrity that's gained by the way that they did this. And perfect example is I was filling my tank the other day, and I was sitting down here, and I'm downstairs in a basement, so my floors are cement. And I dropped the device, it crashed to the cement floor, and from this height, my desk height, so about 3 feet off the ground. But I thought for sure the glass would be broken, and I picked it up and the glass wasn't broken, and I figured that is because more of the capacity is taken up by that metal housing with that smaller section of glass. It's got more support on it. Maybe that's why the glass didn't break. So next we're going to go into the battery here. Oh, one more thing, the airflow. I find that the airflow is really smooth, but it is on the noisier side, and it is really airy, wide open. No restriction at all on a direct lung. I'll let you go ahead and listen. So while the airflow is smooth, it sounds loud, and that's going to be a subjective thing. If you're somebody that likes tanks that are more on the quieter side, this tank may not be for you. Now let's go into the battery. Very simple, basic. It's got all the safety protections that most stick batteries like this have. It's got overcharging protection, low voltage protection, short circuit protection, quick, fast 2 amp charging, USB. So if you have other 2 amp chargers, you could use them. However, with charging devices like this, I typically say at 2 amps, use the included charger only. That's going to ensure that no accidents happen and that the battery recognizes the charger. Now, also with the battery, it is a 3,000 mAh capacity, so you're going to find that you can vape on this for longer periods, which is different from their previous one that they introduced, the other Cascade, which is the Cascade Mini and is only an 1,800 mAh battery. Now let's talk about machining. As far as machining goes, the machining of the battery and the threads on the 510 are great. The only place I found machining issue is the threads on the base that screw into the top half of the what you would consider the tank housing. Those were a bit rough. I found that I could hear some audible squeaking and a little bit of crunching. I would have liked the threads on the tank to have been better, but the threads on the device are good. Now let's go into a con. Too many pieces on this tank. The only con I have for this device really is that the tank is in too many pieces. The fact that you go from to disconnect, you have to screw the top cap clockwise, then to disconnect the chimney base from the top cap, you're going to screw counterclockwise, and then to unscrew the bottom portion of the chimney base, you're going to screw it clockwise, and then to unscrew the base from the chimney section, you're going to screw it counterclockwise. Because there are so many pieces to this tank, it is very easy to accidentally unscrew your glass from the rest of the device, from the rest of the tank, and get e-liquid everywhere. Now, on the pro side, it could be considered a pro because you can take it apart, break it down further, and clean it even better. But for me, I think it just makes it way too complicated, especially since these types of devices are considered starter kits and are geared towards the new vapor. Having a tank that comes apart in that many pieces could be confusing and discouraging to them. So I'm putting it in the cons. And that's all I have to say about the Vaporesso Cascade 1 Plus device. Let me know your thoughts about it down in the comments. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up. If you're not already, click the subscribe button. If you are subscribed, make sure to hit the little bell notification icon so you get notified the next time I upload a video. Thanks again for watching, you guys. Bye-bye.